Hello and welcome to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith and today we head to a new venue for the Grand Prix World Series, and that is New Delhi in India. This will be the first time that the Buddh International Circuit has hosted in the Retro Racing Managers League, and we can't wait to see what this circuit brings. As ever, we're going to start off with League 2, and let's remind ourselves of the drivers and team standings heading into today. Earl Bamber with a bit of a cushion at the top on 153 points, 16 ahead of Nick Tandy in second, the Cooper Kiro on 137 points. Shane van Gisbergen third on 132 ahead of Marcus Ericsson on 119, and Joseph Newgarden in the second Jaguar, fifth on 105 points. Roman De Angelis is sixth in the Lancia on 83 points ahead of Kalle Rovanperä on 70, Jamie Whincup on 65, Julian Allo on 64, and Ye Yifei rounding out the top 10 on 63. As far as the teams are concerned, Jaguar leads the way on 258 points. They have a little bit of a buffer now to Lola in second on 231, but very close for second place at the moment, with Cooper Kiro 2 points behind Lola and Ducati a further 3 behind. That could all change by the end of today's race. Lancia in 5th on 146 ahead of Zakspeed on 114, 40 Corsa on 57, Mazda on 40, Ford on 37, Pacific on 31, Iron Dames on 30, Chip Ganassi on 23 and Toyota on 19. For today's race, we don't have any driver changes, so we'll get straight down to the grid, and this was a very close one here in New Delhi. But Kalle Rovanperä picks up another pole position for the Lola team, less than half a tenth of a second ahead of Shane van Gisbergen in second. Nick Tandy third ahead of Earl Bamber and Jamie Whincup. Those top 5 within a tenth of a second of each other, so close for a pole position here today. Brendan Hartley missing out a bit on that fight for pole in 6th, about a quarter of a second behind, but ahead of Ye Yifei in the Lancia and Roman De Angelis in the second Lancia. And then the two Zakspeeds of Julian Anlauer and Johnny Adam round out the top 10. Marcus Ericsson and Joseph Newgarden, both of those championship contenders, will be very disappointed to qualify 11th and 12th today. But then they have a bit of a gap back to Colton Herta in 13th, 6/10 of a second between Newgarden and Herta in 12th and 13th. Absolutely unheard of in the Grand Prix World Series. Callum Ilott, our outgoing champion this year, will start 14th ahead of Nick Cassidy, Julian Palmer, Felipe Drugovich, Shotsu Boy, Kyle Kirkwood and Dorian Pan 20th in the Iron Dames. And at the back, Louis Delatraz, Zane Maloney, Kamui Kobayashi, Nick De Vries, Richard Verschoor and Beitske Visser rounding out the field today. Well, it is a new venue, but what action will it bring us today? And will it give us any better indication of who is going to walk away with the championships this season? Let's waste no more time. Let's get straight to the commentary box and hand over to Tom Cairns, who is ready and waiting to call this one. So Tom, let's get this going.
Kalle Rovanperä on pole again, with Shane van Gisbergen now playing catch-up in the race to be crowned the League 2 Drivers' Champion this season. The 5 lights are coming on one by one. We've got 1 light, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go in New Delhi. It's a good getaway from Rovanperä ahead of van Gisbergen. Nick Tandy has made his way through into 3rd position. A good start from the Cooper Kiro. And as they head through the first section of the course, it's van Gisbergen who takes over leadership ahead of Kalle Rovanperä. Good overtake from the Ducati pilot, just what he needed at this stage of the season. He's out in front, he leads. Kalle Rovanperä is second. It's Brendan Hartley who's made up into 3rd position in the second Ducati. He came through from 6th on the grid. He's in 3rd place remarkably. Nick Tandy is down to 4th. Then it's Ye Yifei in 5th place. He's made a good start from P7. Then it's Earl Bamber, Jamie Whincup, Joseph Newgarden, Roman De Angelis and Julian Anlauer running up the top 10. New Delhi, a new host in the Grand Prix World Series. GPWS has raced in India before in Chennai in seasons 1 and 2, but this is a totally new venue for the team managers and the championship itself. 45 laps it will be. Some drivers will be doing the 2-stop, others will be doing the 1. And how important could this race prove to be when the championship concludes in Buron in 6 weeks' time? And Ye Yifei is attempting to get by the Cooper Kiro of Nick Tandy. That would have been the most ambitious overtake I've ever seen, but that most likely would have come off very, very badly. Lancia remains in P5. Ye Yifei, who's had a wretched season, despite the fact that he won the second race of the season Campo Grande. We'll come back to that in a moment. Rovanperä on the inside of Van Gisbergen. He's back into the lead at the same spot as where Van Gisbergen got by him at the start. Good overtake from the Finn. The man from 5 starts has picked up 2 victories. Already making it inside the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship up to P7. We've got an early pit stop over at IM Danes because Biskavica has had to come in for repairs. Marcus Ericsson, whilst his teammate has got back into the lead, Ericsson's on the move to get back into the points by passing the exact speed of Julian Anlower for P10. Ericsson didn't have the best of qualifying sessions, and if he is to remain in the hunt for the title, he needs an improvement in form as we speak. Ericsson has failed to score in the last 3 rounds. 1 victory he's picked up this season, that came at Indianapolis in round 4. But it's his teammate who is the man in form right now. If he continues going at the form that he's doing, could well finish ahead of Marcus Ericsson if he's lucky. Meanwhile, he's continuing a fine job for Lola, who are continuing their push for promotion. It was a step in the right direction last time out in Kyalami, where they came in with a win, but it was a bad dent when Ericsson retired with mechanical gremlins. So it remains in the balance between Jaguar, Lola, Cooper Kiro and Ducati. Not just to be crowned teams champions in League 2 this campaign, but also seeing the promotion to League 1. This is the 15th round of the championship here in New Delhi. We go to Fuji next, followed by Sepang in Malaysia, and then the 18th and final round, as I've mentioned, is in Buriram in Thailand, which is also another new venue for the Grand Prix World Series. We've also got the non-championship Macau Grand Prix to follow the next week, involving the 13 highest scoring teams across the 2 leagues. Now that the race has calmed down, we can run down on the setups of what each team in League 2 has decided to go for. We begin with Pacific, who've gone for a neutral setup. Zach Speed mid downforce, 40 mid top speed, Lola maximum top speed, Lancia neutral, Ducati and Jaguar have both gone for mid top speed, Chip Ganassi neutral, Toyota and IM Danes mid top speed, Ford neutral, Cooper Kiro and Mazda have both gone for mid top speed. Fast up of the race is set by Kalle Rovanperä on the 32.0. A long way to go yet in this one. It's been recently announced that Kalle Rovanperä will no longer compete in the World Rally Championship after this year. It's expected that he'll be heading over to Japan to race in Super Formula, which will be very exciting indeed. And who knows where it could lead to after that. Bamber has got by Yifi for 5th position. It was on the last lap where he got the overtake done. El Bamber, the man, the championship leader, came into this round 16 points clear over his nearest rival Nick Tandy, who didn't score. Neither did Van Gisbergen, and Ericsson didn't score either. It was a day to remember for El Bamber, although he did have that scare when he had to put in towards the end with a throttle problem, but so easily could have put him out of the race. He did recover to finish in 4th place behind his teammate Joseph Newgarden, who bagged a much needed podium. And believe it or not, it's his first podium since round 6 at Dijon-Bourgogne. We're approaching the end of lap 4. We just completed lap 4, now we're on lap 5. Nick Tandy is under attack from El Bamber. Into turn 1 goes the Jaguar. And that is Bamber through into 4th position. Another good overtake from the Kiwi, who's got through. And more importantly as well, that's his newest challenger for the championship, Nick Tandy. Right on board with Brendan Hartley, chasing after Shane Van Gisbergen. Hartley was off the pace in Kyalami, despite the fact that he finished in 6th position. The last driver on the lead lap. now he's going after his teammate, who won't want to battle with too much because he's the man fighting for the championship. Hartley did come in about halfway through the season, substituting for the departing Mitch Evans. Now Lola have had 3 different drivers taste victory this season. Jamie Chadwick won the opener in Aruba. Ericsson won at Indianapolis, and Robin Perro won in Poznan and Kyalami. Ducati have had 2 drivers win this season. Mitch Evans winning in La Plata. Van Gisbergen broke his duck in Team Burgoyne. Also won again 2 races later in Mugello, and he did so again the following round at Hockenheim. Could Brendan Hartley become the 3rd driver for Ducati to win the Grand Prix World Series race this season? He has won before for Sam Hall's team. Sam Hall is the team manager of Ducati, but he previously managed Manor before they went down last season, and off goes Eilert very nearly at turn 1. He was able to recover it. Lucky to keep all the 13th place ahead of Colton Herter and Joe Suboy. The top 3 teams will go up to League 1 next season. The bottom 3 teams in League 1 will go down to League 2. We've got the League 1 race to come later today. Another important chapter in more ways than one. The battle for the driver's title, the battle for the team's championship, and also a fight to beat the drop. Now, involving both fields, there are still places up for grabs for the non-championship Macau Grand Prix. Now, we've got 12 teams who have got at least 100 points on the board. Force India are the team in 13th place. They are the team at risk of being falling out of the Macau race. The nearest challengers to them are Prost, who are banging form at the moment. Hitting form at the right time after a barren 2/3 of the season. But the last couple of rounds have completely changed their campaign. Robert Perez lead is 2.5 seconds over Shane van Gisbergen. Brendan Hartley in 3rd place. It's Earl Bamber who's gaining ground on him. 4th position. Then we've got Nick Tandy, Yuki, Jamie Winkup in the 2nd. Cooper Kiro is in 7th place, with Joseph Newgarden for the company in 8th. Remy DeAngelis in the Lance Series 9th. Marcus Ericsson, the last driver in the points, in 10th. The top 10 positions are filled by all the cars from the top 5 teams. Robin Perro, P1, winning for his 3rd World World Series win from 6 races. His first 6 races. Now, if we look back in Season 2, in the League 2 Drivers' Championship, Ilya Castroneves, who made his debut in Kyalami, scored twice in his first 2 races. The 3rd race win wouldn't come until his 8th start. The way things are going, Calvin Perra could become the first driver in Grand Prix World Series history to win 3 times in his first 6 starts in this series. Hartley in P3 behind his teammate. Elbamba in 4th place, continuing to close in on the Kiwi itself. So we've got a Kiwi in second, in third, and in fourth. Not every day you hear that. Eight laps are down here in India, as we see Roman DeAndres keeping in touch with Jimmy Whincup and Joseph Newgarden for position. Won't be too far away from pit stops. Looking at the previous times that the Grand Prix World Series has raced in Chennai, or in India rather, Scott Dixon won the League 1 race for Simtek, Will Power won the League 2 race for Lakehouse. In Season 1, when it was just one league that season, oh, Yiffy has broken his front wing! That was a bad error there by the Chinese driver. He nearly takes out his teammate. Now that was over at the first of these chicanes. It was over at turns 6 and 7. It's going to be an early trip to the pit lane for Yiffy. It's not a good sign for team manager Chris Cavaney, who has already won the League 2 Drivers and Teams Championships with Lakehouse in Season 2. We have Rob Wickens and Alex Verts as his drivers at the beginning of the campaign before Will Power and Helio Castroneves took over. And that pushed the team to the title and promotion to League 1. He's the Lancia team manager these days. Yiffy has come into the pits for repairs and he'll drop to the back. That allows Johnny Adam to go up into the points. And going back to what I was saying about the last time, or the previous times, drivers won in Chennai, Jean-Luc Vergne won for BAR in Season 1. Perra continuing on his way, strong as ever. On board with Brendan Hartley in P3. And Anlower is behind his teammate Johnny Adam. Now, Adam got by Anlower earlier on in the race. The pair are running in 10th and 11th. Now, if my understanding stands correct, Zakspeed are the team with the highest number of starts without achieving a Grand Prix World Series win. They've done 62 races in that time and they've never won. And that is correct. They've pretty much been a dark horse in League 2 for so long, never got promoted. Finished on the podium 9 times. They had that long run of consecutive points finishes before it ended in Dijon-Bourgogne earlier this campaign. You could say that they are the steady eddies of the Grand Prix World Series. So Maloney will feel that he's not a steady eddy in this championship. Both Ians. Oh, there's an engine blow up, and it's one of the Zakspeeds. It's Johnny Adam. He's going to become the first retirement of the race. A body blow for him. Zakspeed are not in the running for promotion anyway, but they'll have wanted to get both cars to the end. It's game over for Johnny Adam this time. More reliability issues hitting the Zakspeed team, headed up by Chris Hosey. And you can can see the engine's seized, and he's going to pull to the side. Needs to be aware of that 40 that's coming through. Now, did he get through safely, that 40? I don't think he actually did. Either way, it's game over for Johnny Adam. And it looks like Hertz is also out in the Chip Ganassi. More reliability woes for Phil Kinch's team. Hertz pulls off at the same place as Johnny Adam. 2 cars out of it. Yi Yiffy had to go into the pits again with more issues. Mechanical issues, that is, so it gets worse for the Chinese pilot. He's down in 24th and last place. No chance of points from that. Rovanperä, 3.6 seconds clear in the lead. Don't know for certain whether he's going to be doing the 1 stop or the 2. My assumption is that he'll do the 2. But don't take my word for it. Brendan Hartley in 3rd place, Scott Bamber for company. And Bamber has decided he's going to come in for a pit stop at the end of lap 12. Bamber heads for pit road. An important stop for his championship charge. Roman DeAngelis is also in for Lancia, as is Kalamilot. And we see Nick de Vries get overtaken by Felipe Drugovich. Don't often see overtakes happening there, as de Vries got some form of issue. Not 100% sure, but either way, he's down the order. More pit stops are happening. Dorian Pan comes in for Ian Danes. Nick de Vries is going to get overtaken here by his teammate Richard Verschaw. De Vries loses another position. Back straight. It's a long back straight before they enter turn 4. Maita Fitzer is in for her second stop. It's her first scheduled one. Who will be crowned Drivers' Champion and Teams Champion? Do let us know in the comments. Feel free to get involved in the live chat if you are watching. It's been premiered. So Maloney is passed by Earl Bamber, who's making the most of the fresher rubber. We've got a pit stop over at Ducati. Brendan Hartley is in, as is Joseph Newgarden. And Earl Bamber completes an undercut on Hartley and go through into 3rd place effectively. He's passing the Pacific now. He's got to jump on him. He's ahead of Hartley as Earl Bamber. The undercut proving to be effective again here in New Delhi. This racetrack previously hosted Formula 1 over a decade ago now, for 3 years, 2011 to 2013. Sebastian Vettel taking pole position and the race win on all of those occasions. You just see that will be Joseph Newgarden getting past the Kyle Kirkwood, who's the only Chip Ganassi left in the race. Nick Tandy, P3 in the Cooper Kiro. When will he decide to pit in? Judging by his pace, he may decide to go on the 1 stop. Whincup is remaining out there as well, unless he decides that he's going to head for the pit lane. No, he's not. Carry on as the Hartley overtakes Kamui Kobayashi. P11 on circuit. Next man to get past will be Julian Palmer, who is also yet to pit in. Oh, that's Newgarden getting by DeAngelis, and he nearly ran into the Mazda of Nick Cassidy. Richard for sure comes in for Toyota. Trying to end their season on a high. It's been another tough season for Michael Gillespie. He's not had the best of luck in the Grand Prix World Series, it has to be said. Newgarden has got De Vries just ahead. That is Shane van Gisbergen. As Newgarden gets by the Toyota. He's through another place. Into the pit lane comes the race leader, Kalle Rovanperä. What about Shane van Gisbergen? He's also in. As is Nick Tandy, so we should see Jamie Whincup take over leadership. That is Brennan Hartley getting past Louis Delatraz this time. Now what will this mean for Earl Bamber, because he pitted in sooner compared to the leaders. How much gain is he going to make out of this? Well, I think he's going to get ahead of Van Gisbergen here. And he's in front of Rovanperä, surely. He is! Earl Bamber is effectively into the net race lead. He came at the end of lap 12 by pitting him 3 laps sooner than the leaders. It's paid dividends. That's Roman DeAngelis overtaking Nick De Vries, the 13th position. The top 3 at the head of the field now are Whincup, Ericsson and Anlauer, who look like, unless they decide to pit in at the end of the next lap or two, they look like they're going to try and make the one-stop work. Van Gisbergen overtakes Louis Delatraz for 8th position. Further back has disposed of Julian Palmer. And aboard with Julian Anlauer in P3. Rovanperä overtakes the Mazda of Sho Zuboy. Can get on, we're going after the race leader, Earl Bamber. Anlauer comes in for sack speed. So Bamber's back into 3rd place, Rovanperä 4th, Hartley 5th, then it's Van Gisbergen, Tandy, Newgarden. The Julian Palmer who remains out there in 9th, and Dylan just goes back into the points in 10th. Kirkwood comes in for Chip Ganassi. That's 17 hour 45. Whincup is your leader. For now, he's yet to pit in. He's yet to win in the Grand Prix World Series as Jamie Whincup, but this spell at Cooper Hero has been a much more harmonious one compared to the short spell he had with Simtek in Season 2. 2 second place finishes, 2 fifths, a 6th, a non-finish, and a pole position. That is Marcus Ericsson, who's got Earl Bamber chasing him down very, very quickly here. There is Nick De Vries, who runs wide. Not what he wants to be doing at that particular part of the course. New fast up of the race from Kalle Rovanperä, 1:31.8. important that Bamber gets by Ericsson, because Rovanpera will be on fresher tyres compared to the Jaguar. We'll be closing him down at a rate of knots. Is Bamber close enough to have a go? We'll see. And lower. He's now stuck behind this long queue of cars headed up by Nick de Vries. It's Cassidy, Ilott, Pan and Anlower. We'll go back to the Toyota. Toyota has got mid-top speed on its setup compared to those have perhaps got more downforce with their setups, hence why de Vries was able to pull away on the straights. Bamber did get by Ericsson in the end. And now we're looking at Hartley, who's attacking Rovanpera for 4th position overall, and Rovanpera got held up behind his teammate, which won't please team manager Marcus Johansson. Hartley has got through into 4th position. There is Whincup. The only driver standing in the way of Earl Bamber now. He's got 5 seconds in hand, so if he can remain in front of Bamber before he pits in, that could put him in play for a possible race win, just as it helped Nick Tandy in Marrakesh a couple of rounds ago. Right on board with Earl Bamber in 2nd place. Going through the chicane of turns 8 and 9. This is long banking. Turn 10. Mulaney getting through on the 40 and the sack speed. Nick de Vries is doing a fine job in holding the field up to help his cause and potentially his teammate Richard Verschoor. There goes Hartley! That is on Ericsson, and he's through into 3rd position on circuit. Now he can go after his teammate, oh, not his teammate, his compatriot, Earl Bamber, who is next. And Rovanpera does get through on Ericsson in the end. He won't be pleased with him. We'll have to hold him up. Down the long back straight. Whincup continues to lead 1.7 clear over Bamber. And that is Rovanpera slowing! Rovanpera slows in the Lola! More reliability issues for Marcus Johansson's team. Kalle Rovanpera is out of the Lead 2 New Delhi Grand Prix. It's a rear suspension that has given up on the fin. The 3rd driver out of the race. Rovanpera goes no further. There we see Earl Bamber now on the tail of Jamie Whincup. Cassidy. He's now holding the field up. There is Yiye Fields in front of Felipe Drugovich. Despite pitting twice in this race, Yiyefi's done very well to stay in touch with the leaders, and I think we've got a replay of, I think it was Earl Bamber overtaking Whincup. That would have been at the last corner. We missed where the overtake happened, but we now know the result, that Earl Bamber is into the lead of the Lead 2 New Delhi Grand Prix. Jamie Whincup is having to keep up with the Jaguar pilot until he pits in. On lap 21, we're approaching half race distance. Whincup was to pit now, he'll come out clear of Julian Palmer. Shosu bike overtakes Nick de Vries, as does Louis Delatraz on Sadie Maloney. Bamber in the race lead. Now his last win came only a few races ago, and that's Ericsson. Looks like he's slowing down as well. Is he out? He is! That's both of the loaders gone! Marcus Ericsson, a lap after his teammate had retired, is also out of the race. That looks like a gearbox issue. A torrid time for the Lola team. It's a puncher for Marcus Ericsson. Great news for Ducati, Jaguar and Kubikiro, but not so for Lola. They were second in the team's championship coming into this. They could fall out of the top three by the end of it. Nick Tandy has come in for his second stop of the race. Well, looks premature really for Tandy. Chamber Whincup has stayed out though. He feels he can go a little bit further. And there we see Julian Palmer about to be overtaken by Dorian Pan, who goes up to P7. Now Pan has pitted in this race, Palmer hasn't. Hartley's got by Whincup for second place. Van Gisbergen will be the next man to send Whincup down the order on the fresher tyres. 4 drivers out of the race: Marcus Ericsson, Kalle Rovanperä, Johnny Adam and Colton Herter. Bamber is coming towards the alternate turn, and that is Richard Forshaw overtaking what looks like the Zach speed of Julian Anlower for position. Harvey goes over the line. Whincup continues to remain out there, and Van Gisbergen is going to send him further down the order. Whincup doesn't fight the Ducati. And he's got 8 seconds in hand over Joseph Newgarden, so Whincup can just make it round before he pits in. Now we've seen how effective the undercut can be round here at the Buddh International Circuit. De Vries in 13th position. Is overtaken by Sadie Maloney. Richard Forshaw running in 15th ahead of Julian Lower. All of these are thinking about let's get into a point scoring position, which could happen later in the race depending on what happens further up ahead. We've had 2 of the Lolas go out of this. Or 2 Lolas, or both Lolas, I should say. Felipe Drogovic on the move past Julian Anlower for position. And that's him through, and not another place. Brendan Hartley in P2. Ahead of Van Gisbergen. 3 Kiwis in the top 3. Tandy gets past Julian Palmer after making his second stop of the race. Whincup still hasn't stopped yet. that's Anlo. We're running wide. Damage in his front wing. There's a bad error from Anloa, who's rotten runner 4. Oh, he got tapped. That explains why that was Kamui Kobayashi that knocked him off the circuit. At least hasn't got too far to go to come in, but Kobayashi's going to be hit with a 30-second time penalty, I think, for that. Yeah, it's completely avoidable. There'll be a penalty coming Kobayashi's way. And Anloa is doing his best to get back to the pit lane. Just waiting for confirmation from race control. And it's a 30-second time penalty in the back of the grid drop for Kamui Kobayashi's home race in Fuji. Not what he wanted to have been hearing, or his team manager, Dave Goddard. Palmer is overtaken by Louis Delatraz now for P11. Palmer continues on, leading lap 24. Over the line, as is Van Gisbergen. What about Jamie Whincup? He's now in. He's finally in, is the Cooper Kiro. Fall behind Newgarden and DeAngelis, but can he get out in front of Pan and Tandy? Cooper Kiro will hope that he does get out in front of Pan and Tandy. There he is. There's Tandy overtaking Pan at the final corner. But where is the Cooper Kiro of Whincup? Is he out of the pits yet? He is. Is he going to rejoin in front of Tandy? It's going to be close. He is just ahead of him. He got out just in front of Tandy. Now Whincup will be on the better tyres compared to Tandy. Freeze is in for Toyota for his one and only stop. 2.7 seconds is the margin between Bamber and Hartley. Van Gisbergen is remaining in touch. Look at Earl Bamber. He's got Nick De Vries has just come out of the pits. He will be on fresher tyres compared to Bamber. Now remember, Bamber came in at the end of lap 12. De Vries will be on much better tyres and he has the chance to pull away from the Jaguar. And Hartley is really, I don't want to say he's really struggling, but it's the fact that Van Gisbergen's really closing in behind. And I wonder whether Hartley will let Van Gisbergen go here for the sake of the championship. Ilott gets overtaken by the Mazda of Sho Suboy for 9th. Pit stop for Jillian Palmer at Pacific. Where will he come back? See later in this one. Whincup running in P6 ahead of Tandy's able to pull away from him since his stop. He's got all the clear air ahead of him. Might try and go for a fastest lap. Jamie Whincup, but we'll see. There goes Van Gisbergen through on Hartley for second place. That's a good overtake from the Kiwi, passing his fellow compatriot and teammate. Now we'll see how he gets on with Earl Bamber for the lead. Will remain in touch. Van Gisbergen is the man who is fine. Oh, that's Pan spinning off the circuit. Does she keep it together? She does keep it together, but she's got throttle issues in the Iron Dames. That's a terrible shame after running so high. She was running in 8th place before some form of throttle issue. I think surely that is that for Pan. Now the engine's going to overheat if she's not careful here. Get back on safely. She does, but she spun the car again. Now, I don't know what on earth is going on here with Dorian Pan's car. Cassidy's had to come into the pit lane. Yeah, there is a throttle issue. It's clear that she had some form of problem. That's not a driver error. It may look like a driver error, but that sums up Jake Senson's team's day. Bicevitz had to come in for repairs in the lap 1. Now Pan is in. At least she hasn't got in the way of the leaders. And there we see Hartley come out. Well, Cassidy come out just behind Brendan Hartley. DeAngelis has come in for his final stop from 5th position. Fall behind Winkup and Tandy. Is he going to get out in front of Delachas, I wonder? It's going to be close, I think. Van Gisbergen is now 1.1 off the lead. Delachas and Subai have got ahead of DeAngelis, has exited the pit lane now. Maloney's in. Kirkwood in 16. Coming into the pit lane. Bicevitz is also in for what should be her final stop. 8/10 of a second between Bamber and Van Gisbergen. It's hardly relevant because Bamber is in for his last stop. Now remember, he came in at the end of lap 12 for his first one. He's coming at the end of lap 28 for his second. That hands the lead over to Shane Van Gisbergen, who's going to get some back marker trouble in a moment. That's Kyle Kirkwood coming out of the pit lane. That may be good news for El Bamber, who, by the looks of things, could end up falling behind Jamie Winkup and Nick Tandy. Winkup and Tandy have got by. Kobayashi gets overtaken by Yifi, who's coming back through the field rather nicely again. Didn't think he would do, but he has done here. It's up to P12. Is in for 40 as well. Shaw also in for Toyota. Newgarden running in P3. He's got the Iron Dames of that's Bicevitz trying to get through. That's Cassidy on lapping Brendan Hartley. Behind Hartley will be Dorian Pan. Van Gisbergen is in from the lead. There goes Dorian Pan on lapping Newgarden. Those new tyres are really showing that they are very much a necessity around here. Chris Hartley is in the lead, but when will he make his last stop? He's surrounded by back markers that they are all on fresher tyres compared to Hartley. Shosubai comes in for Mazda. third place. Who's on the one stop. He's ahead of El Bamba, who's got by Nick Tandy. Two-thirds race distance. Hartley's in the lead, but when will he be pitting in? You can see how much he's dropping back from the Mazda and the 40, and this is the time where he's going to be entering the pit lane. Van Gisbergen is behind Tandy and Bamba. So you have to say, the favourite to win this one looks like it's going to be El Bamba, unless Whincup can do all he can to hold him up. Newgarden in also for Jaguar. Into the last 15 laps we go. Whincup leads, Bamba is second. It's Tandy Van Gisbergen. It'll be Brendan Hartley rejoining in 5th place. And De Angelis will move up ahead of Newgarden into 6th. Strong drive from Jamie Whincup in the lead with El Bamba in P2. We've got Tandy Van Gisbergen, Hartley and De Angelis in the top 6. We've got Newgarden in 7th, and back into 8th place is Yi Yiffy. He's pitted 3 times in this race. Or twice at least anyway. He's come back into the points, but if he's going to pit, he's going to have to come through a lot of the field to get anything from this lead to New Delhi Grand Prix. And then if we look at Van Gisbergen, he's stuck behind Tandy. It's important that he gets by Tandy here, Van Gisbergen, because although Tandy's in the fight for the title as well, it's imminent that Bamba's going to get by Whincup, I think. Out of turn 3. Down. Long back straight for the hairpin. Whincup in the lead ahead of Bamba. What about Tandy and Van Gisbergen? Well, Van Gisbergen is closer to Tandy compared to the top 2. He's not able to make the move stick that time around. Be back for more though, will Van Gisbergen. Don't think he'll do it into the next corner unless he's feeling ambitious. Back to the top 2. Tandy and Bamba. And Bamba has tasted victory on 2 occasions this season. The first victory coming in round 7 in Jerez. And there goes Bamba on Whincup for the lead at the penultimate turn. And that is the Kiwi through at last. It's a 3rd Grand Prix World Series win going to be coming in the way this season for El Bamba. Well, most certainly not so for Jamie Whincup, who's had to come in with electrical issues. And even worse, Nick Tandy's coming to the pits at the same time. It's disaster for Cooper Kiro, because now Nick Tandy's going to have to wait even longer. Horrible, horrible times for Ed Hunter's team. Whincup will rejoin in 6th place. Tandy should rejoin ahead of Delatraz. Bamba leads, Shane Van Gisbergen 2nd, and it's Brendan Hartley in 3rd. Yi Yiffy is coming for his last stop now. And will rejoin at the back. 2.5 seconds is the margin between Bamber and Van Gisbergen. Only 4 drivers out of the race so far. We've lost Marcus Ericsson, Kalle Rovanperä, and we lost Johnny Adam and Colton Herter at the same time. Here's Brendan Hartley, who pitted slightly later than Bamber and Van Gisbergen. But he has got over 10 seconds to make up in 12 laps if he's to win this race. Gisbergen, so now if the positions were to remain as they are, Earl Bamber's lead is going to increase. When Gisbergen will go up into second place in the Drivers' Championship, he'll be on 150 points. Earl Bamber's victory will move him on to 178, a 28-point margin. That's more than an entire maximum score for a round for a driver in this series. Championship, Jaguar, the way things are going, Earl Bamber in the lead and Joseph Newgarden in 5th. Van Gisbergen locks up at the final corner, which won't help. Jaguar are looking good for 35 championship points. Will move from 258 to 293. Lola will only pick up 2 points at the moment because Rovanperä got that pole position and he currently holds the fast lap. They'll be on 233. Kiro, with their drivers in 6th and 7th, which would give them 14 championship points. They'll go from 229 to 243. Ducati, with Van Gisbergen in 2nd place and Brendan Hartley in 3rd, they'll give the team 33 championship points, moving them from 226 to 259. It will be Jaguar in the lead, Ducati leaping up to 2nd place, Kiro in 3rd. Lola will drop out of the top 3 in 4th. There's some team battle at Pacific. Kalamola going past Jolene Palmer and up into the points. At least it's been a better day for Kevin McMullen's team compared to some rounds. De Vries gets overtaken by the Ford. Same Baloney, so it might be Felipe Dragovic actually. It was Felipe Dragovic that got by. Yiafi overtakes Bajtskevitsa for position. Into 20th place he goes. There's no way he's going to end up in the points. Yiafi, unfortunately, but he'll give it a good old try. Ten laps remaining. Delatro's running in 8th position, having a very good race in the 40. Kamui Kobayashi is outside the top 15. That's that 30-second time penalty for his running with Julian Anlauer that forced him to come in for pit stop sooner than planned. Left here in New Delhi in the League 2 race. There is still the League 1 event to come later on. Now, if something happens to Earl Bamber here, that's going to change the complexion of the Drivers' Championship. Remy DeAngelis, who one of those who has been in form at the moment. And there we see Dorian Pam being lapped by Earl Bamber. opportunity actually for the Kiwi. Bamber does get by eventually. He will have lost time thanks to that. And there's an engine blow up for Joseph Newgarden. Could this be an omen for Mike Smith's team? Newgarden pulls off the circuit with 9 laps remaining. And that is surely his chances of the championship over for this season. That will promote the 2 Cooper Heroes up positions. That's going to help them. What message will that send to Earl Bamber? Yiffy overtakes the Mazda of Nick Cassidy for position. It's up to 19th, but he'll go up to 18 once he goes by the stricken Joseph Newgarden. Show Seaboy has gone up into the points. On course for his 7th point score this season. The way things are going, he'll move in front of his compatriot Kamui Kobayashi. He'll be the highest Japanese driver in the League 2 Drivers' Championship. Yuki Koyama and Tomo Miyata are the other drivers who have competed this season. They haven't gone much further in this series. And Verschoor's off the circuit here, and that will be an issue on the Toyota there. And that's a shame because it was running very, very well and angling for points, but it's a gearbox failure that's forced him off the circuit and out. Bamber continuing to lead out in front. Shane Maloney overtakes Julian Palmer to go up into the points. Now, Shane Maloney, who finished in the points last time out, he's only finished in the points on 3 occasions this season, but this will be the first time this campaign he'll have finished in the points in consecutive races. Podium finisher in Rockingham as well. Bamber continuing to lead as we look at Louis Delatraz in the 40, going through the turn 6 and 7 chicane. Delatraz running in P7. On course for another points hole here. 3 in a row for the Swiss. Not long left here. Brendan Hartley in P3. Seeing his teammate lap Dorian Pan. Remember, had to come in with that throttle issue. There goes Kobayashi, who will be demoted to last place once his penalties applied. Having said that, Dorian Pan has been loud, so Kobayashi can stay on the lead lap. He will not drop to last place. Dragovic has passed Julian Anlower for 12th. Now we see Kamui Kobayashi overtaking Kyle Kirkwood. Won't mean anything in the grand scheme of things once this race is over. Gap has come down to less than 4 seconds between Bamber and Van Gisbergen. You just never know in the final laps here. it can really all change. So do not go anywhere. Heroes are running in 6th and 7th. 5th and 6th, sorry. There is Yefi passing Kyle Kirkwood. Kobayashi's just got by Nick DeFries, 4th position. I think Yefi's going to pick off Nick DeFries very quickly there. And there he goes, up to 15th. It's come too little too late for Yefi as far as this race is concerned. We want to try and pass some cars before this one's out. I think the last one he can overtake is Kobayashi. 5 laps remaining. 3.5 seconds it's come down to. There'll be more back markers for El Bamba to negotiate though. So this could still get very interesting. Hartley's also closing in on Van Gisbergen as well. Six drivers out of the race. We've lost Richard Bashort, Joseph Newgarden, Marcus Ericsson, Kalle Rovanperä, Johnny Adam and Colton Herter. Three rounds to go after this. Fuji, Sepang and Buriram. Jamie Whincup is closing in on Roman De Angelis for position. This is going to get tasty for 4th place and crucial in the team's championship battle. There goes Yefi on Kamui Kobayashi, and that's him through. Further back, you can see a dice for position between DeFries and Kirkwood, both of which could get in the way of the leaders, so coming up to lap them with 4 laps left. El Bamba is close to yet another win to add to his Grand Prix World Series tally. 4 wins coming into this one, will make it 5. Going in front of the likes of Brendan Hartley, Nick DeFries and Felix Rosenquist. Will go level with Callum Ilott and John-Eric Verne. So gets lapped by El Bamba. Didn't feel like Bamba had lost too much time being stuck behind her. Look at Hartley in P3. He's only a couple of seconds off. Shane Van Gisbergen. Djokovic overtakes Julian Palmer for P11. It's been another respectable race from Felipe Djokovic after his spellbinding performance in Kyalami last time out. Just 3 laps to go. 1.9 seconds between the top 2. Keeping Ducati in the run-in for not just promotion but also the team's championship. How long will it be before Van Gisbergen gets by Skavitsa? Should go by Vitsa here. Gisbergen doesn't do so there though. That's going to lose in time for sure. Bamba, meanwhile, is coming up to lap. Other back markers ahead, I think one of which is Nick Cassidy in the Mazda. Gap now between Bam Bam van Gisbergen has gone back up to 2.2. Oh, and Bamba's off! I think Bamba's off! He is out! Oh, Bamba has stopped! And it's no points for Jaguar here in India! I did say it could all change! It just has! Oh, Bamba retires from the lead to New Delhi Grand Prix! Shane van Gisbergen is into the lead! Brendan Hartley is second! That has blown the Team's Championship and the Drivers' Championship wide open! Shane van Gisbergen can have a free run to the flag from here. Jamie Whincup is on course for a podium. He's just got by Roman De Angelis not too long ago. What rotten luck for Mike Smith, team manager of Jaguar. Well, the way things are going, Ducati are going to be into the lead of the Team's Championship with that 1-2 finish. They'll move from 226 to 269. Jaguar will drop to second on 258. Cuba Kiro will look like they're going to get third and fifth. They'll go from 229 to 254. Lola will be in fourth place on 233. It's just changed hands once more. You can see Van Gisbergen close to the end. He's about to start the final lap. Jamie Whincup on course for a podium. Despite his mechanical gremlins. Nick Tandy's doing his best to close in on Roman De Angelis, but he's going to run out of time to do anything about him. Van Gisbergen's on his last lap, but he's got back markers in the way, and Brendan Hartley isn't too far behind. Surely not another twist here. And of all drivers, it's another Kiwi in the way. It's Nick Cassidy. Van Gisbergen just needs to keep calm here. He knows Hartley is closing. What a result this is going to be for Sam Hole, the team manager of Ducati, to see his two drivers finishing 1 and 2. They were fourth coming into this in the Team's Championship. They're going to be heading to Fuji as favourites to see out the season and come away with the Team's Championship. And most importantly for Sam Hall, a return to League One for him. Shane van Gisbergen exits the last corner. Shane van Gisbergen wins the lead to New Delhi Grand Prix over 1 second clear of Brendan Hartley in second place. Jamie Whincup will pick up a podium for Cuba Kiro, another one for Ed Hunter's team. And then we've got Roman De Angelis in fourth for Lancia, more points for him. Nick Tandy fifth, losing crucial ground in the race for the title. And we've got Louis Delachaz, what a race from him, and for 40. And he's got Sho Suboi right behind, who's going to also pick up another good haul of points. Now, Sho Suboi's best result this season has been 6th, which is achieved on a couple of occasions. 7th will do for him here. Excellent job from Sho Suboi today. He finishes 7th behind Louis Delachaz. And we've got Callum Ilott in 8th, a good effort from him, ahead of Zane Maloney and Felipe Drugovich, both making it into the points again for Ford. An outstanding result. Jolyon Palmer's going to miss out in 11th. who's just been overtaken by Yiffy on the last lap, actually the last corner. Yiffy recovers to 11th, but still no points. Palmer, Alnoa, Kobayashi, DeFries, and Cassidy are the remaining drivers to take the checker fight. Kobayashi does have that time penalty, so he will drop back. It's a win for Shane van Gisbergen and for Ducati. They are the winners of the League 2 New Delhi Grand Prix. Brendan Hartley in second, running out a 1-2 finish for Sam Hull's team. Excellent job. Jamie Whincup third for Cooper Kiro. Roman D'Alentro is fourth for Lancia. Then it's Nick Tandy in fifth. Louis Delatraz a strong drive to sixth place of the show. Suboy, Callum Eilert in eighth. And it's the two Fords of Zane Maloney and Felipe Dragovic rounding out the top 10. Yiffy recovering to 11th after his earlier issues by breaking his front wing in the early stages. Julian Palmer 12th, Julian Anlower 13th. We've got Nick DeFries, Kyle Kirkwood, Nick Cassidy, and Kamui Kobayashi, who picked up that time penalty that drops him down to 17th place. Bajskovica and Dorian Pan were the last to finish. But Earl Bamber, despite being classified, he was in the lead with 3 laps left and retired. Richard Vishaw also out. Joseph Newgarden retiring as well in the second Jaguar. Marcus Ericsson and Kalle Rovanperä both retiring at almost the same time for Lola. A real setback for them. Johnny Adam and Colton Herter were the remaining drivers to not finish that race. The pole position and fast lap points going to Kalle Rovanperä. A brilliant day for Ducati after a torrid time again in Kyalami and perhaps so in Marrakesh when they came close to getting good points. This one will mean an awful lot to team manager Sam Hull. They are now into the lead in not just the team's championship, but Shane van Gisbergen is now into the lead by 5 points, or 4 points rather, over Earl Bamber with just 3 races left. Nick Tandy's 5th place finish has moved him on to 147. It's just 10 points separating the top 3. It looks like it's going to be one of those 3 being crowned the League 2 Drivers' Champion in the Grand Prix World Series this time around. It's time to run down on the League 2 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
Well, drama all the way to the end there in the League 2 New Delhi Grand Prix, with Earl Bamber dropping out of the lead right near the end, and Ducati picked up a 1-2 finish. That could be so important for them to seal their chances of promotion and maybe even the championship title this season. We still have 3 rounds to go though. Let's take a quick look at the drivers and team standings after that one, as Shane van Gisbergen, with his 4th victory of the season, moves back into the lead of the championship, benefiting from Earl Bamber's retirement in the closing stages of that race. He now leads the way by 5 points. Nick Tandy down to 3rd on 147, ahead of Marcus Ericsson on 119, Joseph Newgarden on 105, Roman De Angelis on 95, and Jamie Whincup on 80, the red line there, denoting those who are still mathematically able to clinch the championship. So Kalle Rovanperä, Julian Anlauer and Yiffy all out of contention for this year's title. Looking at the teams, Ducati's 1-2 finish has put them from 4th up into 1st. Still very close between those top 4 teams, fighting not only for the title but for the 3 promotion spots as well. Ducati now 11 points ahead of Jaguar, Cooper Kiro a further 4 behind, and Lola down into 4th on 233 points. Lancia is the only other team left in mathematical contention for this title, with everyone from Zach Speed downwards now eliminated from mathematical championship contention. It's going to be so fascinating to see what the last 3 rounds of the season brings. But for now, we can head on over to League 1, and while they get themselves ready on the grid, let's remind ourselves of the standings. And Antonio Felix da Costa leads the way by 12 points over Felix Rosenqvist. Scott Dixon 3rd on 123, Kevin Estre on 113, and Robin Freins also on 113. I get the feeling it might be one of those 5 drivers winning the title this season. Scott McLaughlin 6th on 95, ahead of Kevin Magnussen on 88, Ryo Hirakawa on 85, Christopher Bell on 62, and Philip Hansen in the BAR 10th on 49 points. And in the teams, it's very close there as well. Arrows on 241, Onyx on 236, and Formitel on 228. Those are the 3 teams that I think realistically will be winning the title this season, but not if HRT has anything to say about it. 169 points is not out of the question just yet. Minardi 5th on 131, ahead of BAR on 106, Force India on 81, Prost on 59, Carlin on 58, Andretti on 47, and in the relegation zone as it stands, Ram on 42, Prema on 35 and Simtek on 8. There'll be quite a fierce battle between those teams to get themselves into top 10 and out of that relegation zone. So let's get straight to it and bring ourselves a grid. There's no driver changes for today's League 1 race, so let's have a look at the qualifying results. And Robin Freins, fresh back from his suspension last time out, puts it straight onto pole position, showing that he is not out of this championship battle just yet. He lines up on pole ahead of Kevin Magnussen, second in the Formitel, ahead of Scott Dixon in the Onyx, 3 different teams in the top 3 there. Felix Rosenquist lines up 4th ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa, our championship leader, 5th on the grid today. Kevin Estra 6th in the second Onyx ahead of the 2 HRTs of McLaughlin and Browning, and then the 2 Minardis of Verline and Hirakawa rounding out the top 10. 11th and 12th will be the 2 Force Indias of Raffaele Marcello and John Eric Verne. Philip Hansen 13th ahead of Sebastian Buemi, Stoffel Van Dorn 15th ahead of Jose Maria Lopez, then Felipe Albuquerque, Pato Award, Linus Lundqvist and Jake Dennis rounding off the top 20. And at the back, Louis Foster, Oliver Rowland, Leonardo Fornaroli, Igor Fraga, Alex Pillow and Nolan Siegel at the back of the field, having picked up a grid penalty last time out in Kyalami. So the League 2 race brought us a lot of drama and we are hoping for more of the same here in League 1. How crucial is this race going to be in the championship battle? There's only one way to find out. Let's head back on over to Tom Cairns, who's eagerly waiting to get this one going. So Tom, back to you.
Back in the field and back on pole position is Robin Freins for Arrows here in India. A long way to go in this one. Can Arrows recover after a disappointing last couple of rounds? 5 lights are coming on now. Lights on. Lights off, it's go in New Delhi. A good getaway from Freins. A superstar also from Scott Dixon. He's already got by Kevin Magnussen. It looks like he's going to have the inside line for turn 1 and go into the lead. Scott Dixon leads in India for Onyx. Great start from the Kiwi. He's in front. It's Robin Freins in second place and followed by the Formitel of Kevin Magnussen in third. Then we've got Felix Rosenquist in fourth place, who has been on a rotten run of form at the moment, but is looking to recover from there. Then we've got Antonio Felix da Costa, the championship leader, running in 5th place, followed by Scott McLaughlin, Luke Browning, Kevin Estra, Jean-Luc Verne and Pascal Verlaine running out the top 10. 26 car field coming down the long back straight. We've seen a lot of drama in the last couple of rounds. Will we see any more here in the League 1 race? Dixon out in front ahead of Freins. Now Scott Dixon hasn't won yet this season. The last victory he had was in Buenos Aires last season for Minardi. Antonio Felix da Costa, the last couple of rounds, has had the opportunity to break the new record for the most number of Grand Prix World Series victories until Mechanical Gremlins, well, either Mechanical Gremlins or the Fate just didn't have the pace in the final stages in Kyalami to hold off Rio Hirakawa for the win. We've seen both Dixon and da Costa remain at the top of the pile on the all-time records for most number of wins by a single driver. Rio Hirakawa's win from Minardi in Kyalami makes Minardi the first team to win 13 times in the Grand Prix World Series. Jake Dennis has just come in for Andretti with some form of issue. And now we look at Philip Hansen, who's running in 15th. Further up ahead we see Philip Albuquerque heading through on Rafael Marciello, but he takes him out! Philip Albuquerque runs into Rafael Marciello at turn 4, and that'll be a race ban and a disqualification for sure for the Portuguese. Lap 2, and it's race over for Rafael Marciello, who's not having the best of times with the form of luck he is having at the moment. Albuquerque goes through. It's race over for the Force India pilot, Rafael Marciello. The wheel has come off on the Force India. And it's race over. Dixon in the lead at the moment. And there is confirmation of Philip Albuquerque's disqualification and race ban, which means he'll be out of the next race in Fuji. And we expect Nicholas Latifi to be in the car for then. Dixon over the line in the lead. It's Friends in second place, Magnussen third, Rosenquist fourth. We've got Browning and McLaughlin who have swapped places. So Browning's ahead of McLaughlin. Luke Browning made his return to the Grand Prix World Series last time out in Kyalami after the departure of Christopher Bell, who was dropped by team manager John Munro. Running in second place. We've run down on the setups for this round. Prost have gone for a maximum downforce setup. HRT mid top speed, VAR maximum top speed, Arrows mid downforce, Force India and Minardi have gone for neutral. Simtech maximum top speed, Onyx, Fomatel, Carlin and Prema neutral, Andretti and Ram mid top speed. There's Kevin Magnussen, race winner in Aruba at the beginning of the season. He had a consistent start to the campaign before it all dropped away from Dijon Burgoyne onwards, really. But now he's having to help his teammate Antonio Felix da Costa for the driver's cycle, and also Fomatel's chances of winning their first League One Drivers and Teams Championships. They were able to clinch those in League 2 a couple of seasons back under the guise of Ewan Gale. They really have settled into life in League 1 rather well, actually. They did survive by the skin of their teeth last season, though. But they are looking good for a return to the top, this time in the top flight of this series. And off goes McLaughlin. A spin into the barrier. The season continues to go from bad to worse. Scott McLaughlin. 2 non-finishes in a row coming into this one. To get out of there safely. The only car behind him now is Jake Dennis, who came into the pits at the end of lap 1 for repairs. Won't want to break his front wing there, and McLaughlin does get back on the circuit, now in 24th position. Finds in P2 ahead of Magnussen and Rosenquist. Is up into P7, looking to end his run of 4 consecutive non-finishes. The only Force India left in the race, running in 8th. We've got the 2 Minardis of Pascal Wehrlein and Rio Huakawa inside the top 10. Through goes Philip Hansen on Stoffel van Dorn for position. Board with Scott Dixon and of Robin Friends. In League 1, we've seen both Arrows drivers winning, we've seen both Fonmatels winning, we've seen Scott McLaughlin win for HRT, we've seen Kevin Estra win for Onyx. Also saw Rio Huakawa win twice for Minardi this season. And we had the likes of Philip Hansen win as well. Magnussen is the only driver, one of very few from the top 4 teams, top 3 teams to have a win this season. Surely it will come at some point. Ryan's will know that feeling too well from 3 seasons back, where he was the championship leader coming into the final race of the season at Laguna Seca. But he had to miss that last race because of a run-in with another driver at the penultimate round in Buenos Aires. And he won the title that season, which he didn't do. He would have gone through the entire campaign without winning a single race. That's Estre getting past Browning, albeit too easily. I think Browning's got some form of issue here, because he's not going very fast. Is it going to continue to unravel for John Munro's team? Browning gets overtaken by Verne. He's got the 2 Minardis to be aware of. Is it a loose wheel on Browning's car? Well, yes it is. And it's just been punted off by what looked like Ryo Hirakawa. Browning's race is over. But I wonder if Hirakawa's going to be hit with some form of punishment here. Now, in my opinion, I think that was avoidable. I thought that was avoidable from Hirakawa. Browning is out of the race now. We'll see what the stewards say on the matter. Are we going to potentially lose another driver for Fuji next time out? It's a race ban and a disqualification from this race for Ryo Hirakawa. Out of this race and out of his home events in Japan. Now the reserve driver at Minardi is Gabriele Mini. We see Igor Fraga, who is back in the Ram after serving his 1-race suspension in Kyalami after his run-in with Tina Hausman in Marrakesh, and that was a body blow for more reasons than one, because had he finished where he was in that race, he finished in 5th place in the League 1 Marrakesh Grand Prix, and that would have been huge points for Ross McGregor's team, who are in need of some right now. They slipped into the bottom 3 after the last race in South Africa. Florence running in 2nd place. Is he going to remain in contention for the championship come Buriram in 6 weeks' time? Alex Blow overtakes the Simtech of Nolan Siegel. It's nicely done by him. And there we see Robin Bryant running in 2nd place for Arrows. If the positions were to remain as they are, will still be in the lead in the Drivers' Championship by 1 point over Dixon. Magnussen is nowhere near contending for the championship, and that's a slow Carlin down one of the straights there. That has to be Pato Ward. He was not going very fast through that. Reigning League 2 drivers and teams champions perhaps look good to be safe in League 1, but Ward's form hasn't exactly helped their cause at the moment, and he's out of the race off the circuit, and that's him going no further. Not a good sight for team manager Perry Brown. Just 2-point scores all season for the Mexican. Hirakawa and Albuquerque, who are running a 9th and 10th, will be excluded from this race and just they're banned for the Fuji round for their run-ins with other drivers. Team managers can appeal that, of course. Right on board with Dixon. Aiming for a record-breaking 9th victory in the Grand Prix World Series. Magnussen third right now, ahead of Felix Rosenqvist. He's keeping up with him. Well, the earliest scheduled pit stop that we saw in the Lead 2 race was at the end of lap 12. And the undercut has proven to be very effective round here. Scott Dixon, your race leader, 2.5 seconds clear over Robin Freins in P2. And you can just see Kevin Magnussen and Felix Rosenqvist in the background tussling over 3rd place. Oh, there's a lock up there from Dixon. Yes, a turn 4 which won't help. Through goes Leo Fornaroli on his teammate. Fornaroli, the reigning Formula 3 champion and champion-elect in Formula 2 in 2025. He's through on his teammate and got an early pit stop for Ram and Igor Fraga. Got the 2nd place finish for the team in round 2 in Campo Grande. We really need to find some points very, very quickly. Dixon rounding the last corner to complete his 10th lap. See who doing the 2-stop and who will be doing the 1. Magnussen in P3. He's got Rosenqvist for company. Rosenqvist and run 2 non-finishes in a row. He's failed to finish in 4 of the last 6. Picked up a victory in that time, which came in Pärnu, Estonia. Nostra popping up himself in the Onyx. On lap 11 out of 45. Dixon continuing to dominate proceedings here. Far behind him is Robin Freins. He's getting the gap down slightly to 2.3. And then we've got Magnussen and Rosenqvist. Nose to tail. And we look at Nolan Siegel and Oliver Rowland. Determined to get by sooner rather than later. Now Simtek are pretty assured of Lead 2 racing next season. After a really disastrous campaign, Liv Simtek was the manager to begin with. But her departure has allowed Ben Hackerson to come in. As we look at Ria Hirakawa, who looks like he's pulling off the circuit here. Engine fire on the Minardi. Race over for the Japanese. And we won't be seeing him for what would be his home round in Fuji in 2 weeks' time. The race winner last time out in Kyalami goes no further. Philip Hansen goes up into 10th place behind his teammate. We've got a pit stop over at Onyx, and that's the race leader, Scott Dixon, coming in for his first of two. Is anyone else diving into the pit lane? Vanessa surely won't be doing so. John Verne is in for Force India. Rejoin ahead of Stoffel Van Don. Vitally important for him that he gets out in clean air here. Kiwi. Through goes Roland on Nolan Siegel. It's a good overtake there from the Brit. Prema or another one of those in need of points to save themselves from relegation at the end of the season. Robin Frines, who's yet to come in, his first stop in the race. Through the penultimate turn. And it looks like he's going to be heading for pit road here. He is. Despite having a couple of laps left on his fuel gauge. Now he'll rejoin behind Dixon and Van Dorn, I think. As we watch the top two, as you can see in your picture, Magnussen and Rosenquist going through. Buster also stays out. So now we've got Fomitel leading Arrows, leading Fomitel, and leading Onyx actually. Louis Foster out of the race in the Prema. Bad news for team manager Alex Johnston. That pushes them closer to the drop unless Oliver Rowley can salvage something from this race. Sebastian Buemi is coming for Prost as well. As does Alex Palou. And it's race over for Foster with a loose wheel. Magnussen out in front. Frines did rejoin ahead of Van Dorn, despite the fact that Dixon got ahead of him. Dixon is on the tail of Philip Hansen. There we see Magnussen and Rosenquist in first and second. I think Rosenquist, by the looks of things, is heading to the pit lane, and he is. Not going to rejoin in front of Dixon or Frines. If he can get out in front of Van Dorn, that would be helpful to him. Now we've got the two Fomitels running 1 and 2. Verne overtakes Leo Fornaroli on the freshest rubber. Rosenquist has exited the pit lane now. Lopez is coming for Prost. So both Prost drivers are going to be doing 2 stops in their bid to continue their push for survival. Got out of the bottom 3 last time out. Oliver Rowland has come in for Prema. sure. In second place, who is, well, I say second place, that's Kevin Magnus who's just coming in. Doing so now, which will allow Antonio Felix da Costa to continue on for another lap in the lead. So Magnussen is in from the lead. Da Costa goes through to take over the temporary race lead. It's Kevin Estre in P2. Pascal Wehrlein entering the pit lane for Minardi at the same time as Magnussen. We've got Philip Albuquerque in third place on the road, continuing on. Rosenquist overtakes Liz Lundqvist at the last corner. We've got pit stops galore going on here. I think Philip Rosenquist has not been able to get by Kevin Magnussen's just come out of the pit lane. There is your championship leader, Antonio Felix da Costa. Determined to make it 9 wins. Something which no one has achieved in the Grand Prix World Series for him. It could be a complete dice between him and Scott Dixon at the end of this one. Second place. Is he going to try and do the one stop here? Da Costa is in from the lead now. Kevin Estre moving into P2. Further back we're looking at Dixon and Albuquerque. As Albuquerque heads for the pit lane, and holding Dixon up has allowed Freins and Magnussen to close up on him. So we've got a three-way battle for the lead here. It's not as comfortable for Dixon now compared to where it was before the pit stops had started. Siegel gets overtaken here by Philip Albuquerque. So it's Philip Hansen. It's Philip Hansen got by him. Philip Albuquerque has come out of the pit lane and locking straight up at turn 1. Behind Albuquerque is Jose Maria Lopez. With Kevin Magnussen in P3, still in touch with Freins and Dixon ahead. Are we going to see a change for the lead again with Freins, who started this race from pole, going for his second Grand Prix World Series victory. Here's the Freins into the slipstream. Will he go for it on Dixon into turn 1? It won't do it there. Albuquerque gets by Sebastian Buemi, 4th position. Now he's going to head through on Nolan Siegel. Linus Lundqvist comes in for Andretti. Through goes Philip Hansen. That was on stop McLaughlin. Wasting no time whatsoever. Fraga making a move of his own. Siegel does finally put in for Sintek. It's not been very, very quick here. Strutt running in 9th behind Wehrlein. Vern is further up ahead in his battle with Van Dorn, who is yet to stop in this. Dixon and a second. Magnusson's dropped back from these two since we last saw of him. Has he picked up some form of issue? I think he has. He's come into the pit lane as Magnussen. Yeah, he is. He's back in the pit lane. Kevin Magnussen's had to come back into the pit lane for a second time, and this is an earlier than expected second stop for the day. McLaughlin overtaken once again, this time by Philip Albuquerque. Next behind McLaughlin will be Sebastian Buemi and Jose Maria Lopez. Side here of the Andretti, who's ducked into the pit lane, that is Jake Dennis. Oliver Rowland, the reigning Formula E champion, is desperate to keep that Premier team in League One for next season. And Jose Maria Lopez is on the attack here on Sebastian Buemi. Now he pitted one lap later than the Swiss. And Lopez feels it's time for him to make his way through here, and up into 13th place he goes. There are your top two. Felix Rosenqvist, who was the championship leader a few races ago, no longer is. Scott Dixon led the championship earlier in the campaign. Now he's having to play catch up as well. Neo really overtakes the Ram of Igor Fraga. Only continuing to lock up behind Lopez. Is Lopez going to be able to keep up with the HR team ahead? I don't think he will do, because if you remember, Prost are running the maximum downforce setup, and it's proven by the lack of straight line speed they have here. Magnussen's coming up to the tail of Philip Hansen. It will be 9th place. Kevin Estre further back, or further out I should say, from Hansen and Magnussen. Estre gets by Verline for 6th position. Now we look at Scott Dixon to hold the lead ahead of Robin Frines. Rosenqvist is number 3 seconds back. 3 goes Buemi, back through on Lopez for 13th place. Jake Dennis on his own in 21st position. Pitted twice in this one, he had to come in at the end of lap 1 for repairs. Didn't see what happened to him, but either way, he will feel. We just want the season to end. Andretti are sitting just above the bottom 3. 5 points clear over Ram, who are in the drop zone. Goes Hansen on Van Don. He is through, but how long will it take before Magnussen does the same thing? 22. We're approaching the halfway point in this League One League One New Delhi Grand Prix. Van Don is about to be overtaken by Magnussen, who is on the fresher rubber. Van Don hasn't stopped yet in this race. See Albuquerque heading through on Van Don on the back straight. I don't think Van Don's going to have anything to respond to that. Rosenquist is slowly but surely closing in, as is DaCosta on the top two. The battle for the win is most certainly up for grabs, and it all depends on how the second round of pit stops play out. Is Frines close enough to attack Dixon? Through hairpin. Down the back straight. Dixon in the lead, Frines in second. Now we look at Verline, who's about to overtake Verne for sixth. Dixon and Frines, who are good to score again. It's never guaranteed by any means. Still a lot of the race left. Arrows came into this one 5 points clear over second place Onyx, and then Fomitel 13 points off the top. Realistically, it will be one of those three coming away with the team's championship at the end of the season. The last corner again, and it looks like Florence is trying to get close enough to Dixon to try and attack, but he's been stuck behind it for so long. If you compare the setups, Arrows have gone for maximum top speed, mid downforce, sorry, whereas Onyx have gone for neutral. So the Onyx is going to have the extra straight line speed to the Arrows. As for Fomitel, they've also gone for a neutral setup. The top four all in your picture. Race was to finish as it is now. Topher will move on to 152 points. Beats Rosenquist will move on to 143. Dixon move on to 149. Kevin Estra will move on to 123, and Robin Frines, who's on course for a second place finish, will go on to 131. Scott Dixon moving into the lead as it stands, or DaCosta I should say. Dixon will move up into second place, and there we see Rosenquist locking up in front of DaCosta. Now is the Fomitel going to head through here? He's going to pull alongside. Is DaCosta? An overtake takes place at turn 1, and Tony DaCosta passes Felix Rosenquist, and up into third place goes the Portuguese. Costa may have been managed by Topher Smith in the past when he was at Super Aguri, but it's all changed hands here with DaCosta, part of Ewan Gale's squad at Fomitel. Gunning for success. DaCosta, who came close to becoming the Grand Prix World Series champion in seasons 2 and 3, who feels that an opportunity of the championship in season 5 is there. way things are going at the bottom end of the table, Syntec are not going to be scoring. Neither are Prema and Ram. And Andretti are also not going to be scoring. Neither will Prost, and neither are Carlin. On the last corner, we'll see Dixon, Frines, DaCosta and Rosenqvist utmost to keep up. Has overtaken Hansen for position on circuit. It's enough for 8th place. Dixon leading, but it's Frines, DaCosta and Rosenqvist. Furline in 6th place. We've got a pit stop over at HRT. Scott McLaughlin is in. Frines, well, he's doing his best to hold up DaCosta. For coming away with the victory. Kevin Estre slowly but surely making up the ground on these. He was running about 19-20 seconds behind. Now he's 15 seconds off. And that's thanks to Dixon holding up Frines, DaCosta and now Rosenqvist. I think whoever blinks first out of these four, whoever picks in first, could be the one that wins this. Dixon, Frines, DaCosta, Rosenqvist. Estre continuing to make up the ground. Dennis heading through on Fraga. Rosenqvist in 4th. Kevin Estre doing a super job in 5th place for Onyx. On the back straight they come. Got a pit stop over at Force India. Sean McVern is in for his final stop. See McLaughlin heading through on Fraga. McLaughlin, who we know is on the fresher tyres compared to the Brazilian. Van Dorn is in for Carlin. Furline further back, running in 6th place for Minardi to bag some more points on top of what's already achieved this season. He's finishing the points on 6 occasions, including that podium in Campo Grande. He just hasn't had the cutting edge in the races, really, like what his teammates done. Frines and Da Costa are both in for their final stops. Now, Frines was ahead of Da Costa before they came in, but what is the order going to be for when they come back out? Can Da Costa get the jump on Frines in the stops? The answer to that question is no. Frines will get out in front of him. So Frines rejoins ahead of Da Costa, but they've got Philip Hansen, who will be in the way of those two. Now Will Dixon and Rosenquist decide to pit in at the end of this lap. Linus Lundqvist comes in for Andretti, which will allow Sean McVern to move back up. It's Rosenquist. There goes McLaughlin on Dennis for a change in position. And out goes Scott McLaughlin. It's been a miserable day for HRT. Luke Brennan went out after being hit by Ryo Hirakawa, and Scott McLaughlin's gearbox has given up. Third non-finish in a row for Scott McLaughlin. Right on board with Scott Dixon, continuing on his way. 2 seconds clear over Felix Rosenquist. And there goes Da Costa on Frines. This is important. He's got through on the Arrows pilot, and Da Costa is through in what could be a net 3rd place or even 2nd. Now, if he could get by Philip Hansen very quickly, he'll be on his way. He'll have more straight line speed as well over the Arrows, so Da Costa should be able to pull away from Frines. Siegel enters the pit lane with Simisak. They go down a lap by the leaders when he comes back out. And there's another pit stop as well, because Igor Fraga has come in for Ram. Estra now in for Onyx. Magnussen overtakes Verline without any drama. Out of the pit lane there, I think that was Igor Fraga in the Ram. There we see Da Costa and Frines still stuck behind Philip Hansen, who's having another good race here in 5th position. Here's Kevin Magnussen in 3rd place. We see Stoff Van Dorn 16th, ahead of Dennis and Lundqvist. And then Siegel and Igor Fraga at the back, having made their final stops. To the pit lane comes Scott Dixon. The same for Felix Rosenquist in the Arrows. A pivotal point in the race. Are they going to come out in front of Antonio Felix Da Costa and Robin Frines? Magnussen and Verline are also in. about Philip Hansen? Is he going to dive for the pit lane? He's not. He's remained out there. Da Costa has got by Hansen at last, but had that come too late. Dixon's coming out of the pit lane, as does Rosenqvist, doing first and second. They are ahead of Da Costa and Freins. The delay in getting stuck behind the BAR of Philip Hansen have cost Da Costa and Freins dear. Maria Lopez coming in for Prost. And there we see Estra, who's got a run on Robin Freins. It could get even better for Onyx and worse for Arrows. Estra gets past Robin Freins for 5th place, effectively what will be 4th. Scott Dixon on his way to a record-breaking 9th Grand Prix World Series victory and his first in Season 5. It's going to give him a massive boost for sure. He will move into 2nd place as it stands, but Jean-Luc Verne is going to complete a terrible day for Ed Spencer and for Force India as he pulls out on lap 31. Well, lap 32 rather. And Magnussen had to take evasive action there to avoid him. Race over for Jean-Luc Verne. He is gone. Hansen and Albuquerque are both in. So Albuquerque's going to get held up here by Hansen. This is not good news for team manager Will Knight. Although Albuquerque has that disqualification hanging over him. Mason has also had to come in for Fonmetal. That is his 3rd stop. Sebastian Buemi is also in. And Hansen gets out. Hansen is rejoining 7th. Albuquerque is 8th. Van Dorn is 9th. Lundqvist inside the points for Andretti. It could be a welcome point, or 2 even for Lundqvist if he can hold on. But Kevin Magnussen will be on much fresher tyres, and I highly doubt that Lundqvist is going to hold on to 9th place effectively. So it's Dixon leading Rosenqvist, leading Da Costa, leading Estra, leading Freins. 12 laps remaining. Rosenqvist is 2.7 off the lead. Dixon's coming to lap what looks like Alex Palou. Dixon laps the ramp. On the back straight, in fact it's Igor Fraga who's lapping. We see it's Rosenqvist in 2nd place. He needs this result after 2 non-finishes in a row in Marrakesh and Kyalami. Da Costa looking good for another podium here. It will be his 7th podium finish of the season. It's the final 3 races of this campaign. This record-breaking 18-round championship. It used to be 16 for a few seasons before it's been increased to 18. And aboard with Philip Albuquerque. His disqualification will allow Stoffel Van Dorn, Linus Lundqvist and Kevin Magnussen to move up into the points. And Pascal Wehrlein is set to come in for his final trip to the pit lane. He'll be on fresher tyres when he comes back out. Now, Da Costa has not been able to make up ground on Dixon and Rosenqvist since the pit stops. Wehrlein has rejoined ahead of Magnussen in P10. I think with the pace that he will have, Wehrlein should get by Lundqvist and Van Dorn before the end. Now with Lundqvist, if he was to hold on to the 9th position, which I think is very unlikely, he'll go ahead of Albuquerque once his penalty's been applied, which will bridge Andretti further clear of Ram in the race to beat the drop. There is Philip Hansen in 6th place for BAR, of course for another good result. In contrast to his teammate Philip Albuquerque, who has yet to score since his debut in Poznan. Wehrlein is about to overtake Lundqvist full position, 9th place goes Pascal Wehrlein, and Kevin Magnussen is right on the tail of the Andretti. We saw a twist in the lead 2 race earlier. Earl Bamber dropping out from the lead with 3 laps left. Dixon has to hope that the same kind of luck doesn't strike him. Da Costa is now run about 6.5 seconds off the lead. He's got Kevin Estra, who's just over 3 seconds back. There goes Magnussen on Linus Lundqvist, and that's an overtake for the Dane. Vital points for Von Mattel here. Now, I think Magnussen will get by Wehrlein and Van Dorn before this race is over, and if he does that, he'll end up in P7 because of Albuquerque's disqualification. Left in this one. Got Fuji, Sepang and Buron to go in Season 5 to determine who will become Drivers and Teams Champions in both Leagues 1 and 2, which teams will be going up to League 1 and which teams will be going down to League 2. There goes Wehrlein on Van Dorn, 4th position, and Wehrlein is doing to 8th place. Good overtake there as we see Dennis get through on the ram of Alex Palou. He should have it here, unless Palou can fight back. He is able to fight back. I think Dennis has this one, yeah. He's through at last. Dennis is up into P17. Hence a retirement for Philip Hansen. He's pulled off at turn 5, and it's a front suspension failure for the Brit. 2 non-finishes in a row for him. Albuquerque goes up into 6th place, which will become irrelevant. Wehrlein will move up, as will Magnussen, Van Dorn, Lundqvist, and a potential championship point again for Prost here, and Jose Maria Lopez, because Albuquerque's disqualification will see Prost bag another point. Look at Hans below, he's been lapped by the leader now. 2 before Rosenqvist gets by, and Da Costa's continuing to drop back from those 2. He's got Kevin Estra and the company, who's only a couple of seconds behind. Now, if Estra can get by DaCosta, that'll help his teammate Scott Dixon in the championship. DaCosta gets by Igor Fraga to lap. Now, what's happened to Kevin Estra? Has he gone through the second sector? Yes, he has, yeah. I was just looking at the sector times where he's actually got through, but he's now within 1.3 seconds of DaCosta, thanks to the back markers. There's Nolan Siegel being overtaken by Oliver Rowland, who moves up another place. It's going to be another race without points for Simtech. 12 in a row it will be. At least both Siegel and Fauna only ahead of some cars on merit, but it's very, very little consolation. It must have been a very appalling season. The team that won the Drivers' Championships in League One in seasons 2 and 3 was Scott Dixon. That was the past. We look at the present. Scott Dixon on his way to victory for Onyx. First of the season it will be for the Kiwi. His teammate Kevin Estra won in Rockingham and in Poznan. Magnussen has overtaken Van Dorn for 8th place, which will effectively become 7th. If he can get by Pascal Verlaine, that'll help Von Mattel's cause in the team's championship. And Rosenquist is getting held up behind Alex Palou, which won't help. And Palou nearly cuts across there on the Yaris pilot. Rosenquist gets through at last. He won't have been impressed there with the Spaniard. Dixon has the 2 Simtex still up next. What about Verlaine and Magnussen, because they are 1.2 seconds between each other. Rosenquist running in 2nd place. Happier to finish where he's at compared to the last couple of rounds. DaCosta will still be leading the championship as it stands, but now Estra is 7/10 of a second behind him with 6 laps remaining. Dixon's now got the Simtex to navigate through and he's perhaps come across him at the worst point on the circuit. This is going to lose him time. First up is Leo Fornaroli. No problem with him. And Siegel holds up Dixon more that time around, I think, which will only encourage Felix Rosenquist. What about DaCosta and Estra, because we want to go to that battle very, very shortly. There they are. DaCosta 3rd, Estra 4th. Fornaroli gets past Siegel in their inter-team battle. Dixon's next back marker will be Oliver Rowland, and that'll be that. Estra's got by DaCosta. Kevin Estra's got past DaCosta for 3rd place. On the inside goes Kevin Estra and Antonio Felix DaCosta. It is 2 Onyxes in the top 3 here in India. The gap will be down to 3 points between DaCosta and Dixon. Rosenquist will also be 6 points off the championship lead in 3rd place, with Kevin Estra and Robin Frines most certainly still in the hunt. Rosenquist is getting held up here by Jake Dennis. He gets by him eventually. But Kevin Estra has done his teammate a favour, and Onyx are looking good to snatch the team's championship lead away from Arrows. There goes Rosenquist lapping Nolan Siegel. That's how tricky it is to get past drivers around this course. And Dennis is going to overtake Nolan Siegel here for position and moves up to 15th. Remaining. There goes Paulo on Siegel for P16. The next driver behind Siegel will be Igor Fraga. 8 drivers out of the race. Philip Hansen, Sean Verne. We've also lost Scott McLaughlin. Of Rio Hirakawa, Luke Browning, Rafael Marcello was taken out earlier on, and Louis Foster. It's not done and dusted yet. Rosenquist running in second place here. Estra looking good for third. Golden opportunities missed though for Antonio Fitz-DaCosta and Robin Frines. Frines started the race from pole. Kevin Estra in third position. Dixon is 3 laps away from a record-breaking 9th Grand Prix World Series victory. There he is. He's got Oliver Rowland in the way next. And that'll be that in terms of the back markers between now and the checkered flag for him. 6 seconds clear over Rosenquist, who lost a bundle of time when he was trying to get by Jake Dennis, Nolan Siegel and Leo Fornaroli. Astra, and Lopez is about to overtake his teammate Sebastian Buemi to go up into 11th position. Now Linus Lundqvist is in the way here for the final point on the road, but also for 9th place once Alpica's disqualification is applied. Not far away from the checker flag is Scott Dixon. The 2-time Grand Prix World Series champion is about to end his winning drought and claim his first win for the Onyx team. Felix Rosenquist will only look on. It's been a positive day nevertheless in terms of him recovering after a blip in form. I want to see that battle involving Lundqvist, Lopez and Buemi for the final points paying positions. If Lundqvist can hold on, get promoted to 9th position, that will push Andretti to safety. Will leave Ram and Kremer more to do. Simsek are more or less gone already. It's just a matter of when they'll be relegated, which could happen in a couple of races' time in Sepang. And there we see Kevin Estra in 3rd place on the penultimate lap. And Dixon further up ahead. It's coming to lap Rowland now to lap. It's not exactly been a good day for Alex Johnston's team. They had hopes for more than they came here for. And Dixon does put a lap on Rowland at last. Just over a lap to go. Final lap of the race for Scott Dixon. Further back we see Lundqvist, Lopez and Buemi for the final championship point on the road. Prost went for the maximum downforce setup here. They were the only team out of the 26 to do so. That might have been the wrong thing to go for, but they did their best with what they had. But Dixon here, looking strong here today. And a very, very big moment. 28 races without a win for the most successful driver in this series. History about to be made once again. India made its return to the calendar this season, and Dixon's made the most of the opportunity of coming here to prove why he's still got it in this series. Not long left in the race now, and Dixon is close to the end. Close down the margin between himself and his rival, Antonio Felix da Costa. Rosenqvist, Estra and Freins are also in the mix, but this is a big day for Onyx as they're about to take the lead in the team's championship. Scott Dixon exits the last corner to win the League One New Delhi Grand Prix. A 9th Grand Prix World Series victory. No one has more than Scott Dixon. Felix Rosenqvist is second, and it'll be Kevin Estra holding off Antonio Felix da Costa to make it 2 podiums for Ryan Ferris and for the Onyx team. They are now into the lead of the League One Teams Championship. Antonio Felix da Costa stays in the lead in the Drivers' Championship by finishing 4th. Robin Freins comes home in a disappointing 5th after being on pole. Philip Albuquerque will cross over the lane in 6th place, but his disqualification for running into Rafael Marcello on lap 2 will see him disqualified and banned for the next race. So Pascal Wehrlein will be 6th, and it will be Kevin Magnussen 8th, Stoff Van Don, Wehrlein 6th, Magnussen 7th, Van Don 8th. Lundqvist has still got the 2 Prost cars for company. He should be able to hold on here. Buemi got back ahead of Lopez. So Buemi should be able to hold on ahead of Lopez. Van Don will get some good points for Carlin in their bid to beat the drop. 8th place for Stoffel Van Don, another good race from him. Lundqvist will hold off the 2 Prosts over the line. It's a win at last for Scott Dixon. 28 races without a win. That has ended here in New Delhi. Felix Rosenqvist second. Kevin Estra makes it 2 Onyxes on the podium. Antonio Felix da Costa is 4th. Robin Freins 5th. Making it 2 Arrows cars in the top 5. Pascal Wehrlein 6th. And we've got Kevin Magnussen, Stoffel Van Don, Linus Lundqvist ending in his barren run of points by coming home in 9th place. And Sebastian Buemi bags another point for him and for Prost in 10th. Jose Maria Lopez in 11th place, then it's Oliver Rowland in 12th. Lino Fornaroli in 13th, Jake Dennis in 14th place. We've got Alex Play, Neil Siegel and Igor Fraga. The rest of those 2 finished the race. Philip Hansen retired towards the end. Sean Verne also lost. Scott McLaughlin, another non-finish for him. Louis Foster, Pato Award, Luke Browning, Rafael Marciello. Those were the drivers to have not finished. Ria Hirakawa also not finished. He was disqualified for his run-in with Luke Browning earlier on in the event. And Philip Albuquerque, who crossed over the line in 6th place, is also excluded and banned for the next race for taking out Rafael Marcello on lap 2. Robin Freins got the point for pole position and the fast start point going to today's race winner, Scott Dixon. Another different winner this season, and it's a familiar name. Scott Dixon, in his 15th race for the Onyx team, has got that number 1 job done. Well done to him. His first win of the campaign at last, and he closes to within 3 points of Antonio Felix da Costa in the race for the League One driver cycle. Is a 3rd Grand Prix World Series cycle in 4 seasons coming in the way of the Kiwi. In the team's championship, well, it's changed hands between Arrows and Onyx. Onyx are quite a distance ahead of Arrows, but there's still a lot that can change in the final 3 events of the season. In the relegation battle, Simtek didn't score, Prema didn't score, Ram didn't score, but the likes of Andretti, Carlin and Prost did. It's looking increasingly bleak for those in the bottom 3. Can anything salvage anything in the run-in to keep their hopes of League One alive? It's time to run down on the League One Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith, and I'll speak to you for the next rounds in Fuji in a couple of weeks' time. Topher, over to you.
So Scott Dixon finally gets his first win of the season and first for Onyx as well. He has now picked up victories for 2 different teams in the Grand Prix World Series. First of all with Simtech, where he won both of his titles, and he is now a race winner once again with the Onyx team. Well done to him. But what has this race done to the championship standings? Well, let's take a quick look now. Antonio Felix da Costa still leads the way on 152, but his lead at the top has been cut. Scott Dixon up to second, 3 points behind the Portuguese. It's very close now in this championship fight. Felix Rosenqvist, his podium today keeps him in the title fight as well. 146 points for the Swede, ahead of Kevin Estra on 128 and Robin Freins on 124. It might still be between those 5 for the title, and we have 3 races left to decide who it's going to be. Still mathematically in contention, Scott McLaughlin, Kevin Magnussen and Ryo Hirakawa, but they have a bit of an uphill struggle if they are going to win the title this season. Christopher Bell and Pascal Wehrlein still in the top 10, but mathematically out of contention now. And in the teams, Onyx Grand Prix, Arrows, Fometal and HRT are the only teams who can still win it. Onyx leading the way on 277, 7 points ahead of Arrows, with Fometal a further 24 behind. HRT still in contention, but they might have to rely on some luck to go their way if they're going to win this championship. Out of contention now, Minardi on 139, BAR on 106, Force India on 81, Carlin on 62, Prost on 60, Andretti on 49, Ram on 42, Prema on 35, Simtech on 8. It is as you were as far as the relegation battle is concerned, but we still have 3 races left to decide who will be going down into League 2 for next season. Well, for a first time on the calendar, New Delhi has truly delivered here today. 2 fantastic races with plenty of drama and plenty of action going on. 3 rounds left to decide our champions this season, and we cannot wait to see who they're going to be. Until the next round, thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have your company. I'm Topher Smith. Take care.